Hello, everybody. This is Cam with the Great Bogey Podcast. We got TL2 here. We got Justin Laird, JL, savior of spin. Teddy has been deemed our new graphic designer as of right now for the last 20 seconds. We got quite a bit to talk about today. We're going to talk about Grayson Murray, mental health. We're going to talk about Colonial. The U.S. Women's Open is this week, and we got Lexi Thompson retiring at 29. Side note, I'd love to retire at 29. That would have been 5 years ago for me. Just wasn't in the cards at the time. And then we're going to preview the Canadian Open as well, which has a nice little field to it. So, Teddy, you got any opening words for the listeners here?
I mean, the only thing I could say is I am envious of Lexi Thompson as well. I wish I turned pro when I was 15 and could just be living the life now.
No doubt.
It's never too late for you to turn pro, Teddy. Just remember that. Go grind it out.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All you need is 6 months, right, Teddy?
6 months and like $100,000. That's all I need, man.
Probably a little
listeners, if you find that you have an extra $100K, let's talk and let's
just 100. I don't need anything more than that. If you find the $100,000 and want to send it my way and be my sponsor, I'll quit my graphic design job. I'll quit the pod.
Whoa,
and just be a pro.
We need you on the pod, Teddy. Don't say that.
Going a little too far here. We're
all right. Fair enough. I'm back on the pod.
Cam, turn the positivity off. Teddy, you'll never make it.
That's fair.
You're never gonna make it, dude. Your dreams suck.
Yeah.
Justin, outside of shattering Teddy's dreams, any opening thoughts for the listeners?
Oh man, it is officially golf season. And like polo wearing season, where you're not having to go to the course, and well, Teddy doesn't ever experience this, but vest, outerwear, etc., and maybe even having to throw on some sunscreen now. So it's on. It's awesome. I love it.
You know what's funny is Teddy is literally like the guy you would think would be wearing vests on every golf course. Like, look at him.
What's funny is I have zero vests. I have a bunch of quarter zips, but no vests. And I went shopping this weekend with my girlfriend. Yeah.
Teddy's frozen. All right. He's back.
We're back.
So it's interesting. Living in Jax, you said you had quarter zips, Jacksonville. I mean, it does get, 50 degrees, maybe dips down to 40 at night some nights.
Yeah, I mean, it's consistently in the 50s and 60s for maybe 2 months. Mm-hmm. And then if we're playing golf, it might be mid 50s to low 60s throughout the round. So shorts and a quarter zip, it's the usual uniform around that time of year, but outside of that, yeah,
he has no idea what we go through, Cam. He has no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I've played golf when there's literally still snow on the ground.
Starting when it's 32 degrees and you're like, it's gonna get above freezing. This is gonna be a good day. Come on, sun.
I want to say my temperature threshold is 40. If it's going to be 40 or lower, I'm like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't do it very often, but it does happen.
I'm not great at golf, and I hit, very bad shots quite often, and I don't need that vibration going up into my knuckles. It just hurts. I don't need all that.
Now, I have played in super cold temperatures. I've played in the teens before, awful, and then quite a few 20s and 30s rounds. It's not fun. But I mean, I've done it.
Yeah.
See, and there's a difference, because as long as the sun's out, and it's 35, 40 degrees, it feels much nicer.
Well, that's how it was.
No wind, then you're golden.
I was in Myrtle Beach one year. It was the middle of December. It was for a buddy's bachelor party. It was 15 degrees out, but there was no wind. The sun was out, no clouds in the sky. It was beautiful, except for the fact it was 15 degrees out. And so we played 36 holes that day, and it was brutal just because of how cold it was. But it was kind of tough not to go through with our plans and play, just because it was, it was so nice out.
Yeah. There was maybe 5-6 Thanksgivings ago, I went and played golf. Not early, but nice and early. My wife and I, my girlfriend at the time, didn't have plans. So I'm like, let me just go play golf. And I remember hitting, I think it was like the 10th or the 11th green, and my ball just shot up like 40 feet and I couldn't find it because the green was still frozen. I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finished a round, of course. I was already pretty much, 60% of the way done. I'm like, might as well just keep going. But as I get older, the more my temperature threshold gets warmer. So it's got to be like next year it'll be 45 and up is when I'll play.
And then you could just move to Florida in like 4 years.
I tell my wife, like, if we can move to Florida at any time.
Actually, here's a question for you. So let's say you get a chance to where you get to move somewhere in the wintertime. Are you going Florida or are you going like Palm Springs, Scottsdale? Dude, there's so many good options at this point.
I would personally probably go to Florida.
Okay. So every October we go down to Palm Springs, and I'm really digging Palm Springs. I love going down there.
Yeah, I'm just very familiar with Florida, and I have friends in Florida. I've got my boy Teddy. We got Whipple. We got the Jacks Mafia. I went to Florida growing up with my dad. We had really close friends, and we would be in Clearwater. We've been to Miami a bunch of times, been to the Keys. I'm a big fan of Jacksonville. That'd probably be one of my top spots because, like Teddy mentioned earlier, like you have the summer, you have the warm weather, but it also doesn't. It's not like 95 degrees year round. Like Arizona scares me because one time I saw signs like the paint was literally melting off street signs, and I'm not into that at all. That was a dead of summer. Don't get me wrong, but I'm good.
No, like this past weekend, it was like 95. It was 95, 96, and it was hot. But I mean, we played golf Sunday morning, first tee time out.
Yeah.
Teed off at 7. We were done by like 10:30. And at that point, like it's not that bad. It's still like mid to high 80s at that point. So it's really not bad.
I'd rather deal with like heat and humidity in Florida than I'd rather deal with like the dry 120 degrees in Arizona for sure. At least like in Florida, you can go to the beach and like attempt to cool off.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing, like especially like in Jacks, at least you have like some coastal breezes and stuff too. So like it's hot, but it's a pretty consistent breeze, so it really doesn't affect you that much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That being said, I did enjoy my time at the Waste Management Open in Scottsdale. So in case you didn't know, I went to the Waste Management Open. There's my quota for the podcast.
Check that box. Got that done nice and early.
All right, shall we get into our topics, boys?
Yeah.
So the first one, which we said at the top of the podcast, we're going to talk about Grayson Murray and his passing on, I believe it was Friday evening, Saturday morning. We wanted to, as 3 men ourselves, talk about mental health. Just make it known that we want to put eyes on men and the struggles that we have when it comes to mental health, stress, anxiety. And provide kind of our support that, like, if you know any of us, come talk to us. Like, we want to put that out there. Grayson Murray struggled with anxiety, depression, alcoholism for a long time. And unfortunately, circumstances in his life made him choose he didn't have any other option, right? So I don't really know what else to say to that, Justin, in regards, to the situation. It's very sad.
I was trying to think about it because you think about a pro golfer, right? Like all of us would dream to play golf at that level and, doing what he's doing, and you feel like such a, like the fame associated with it, or the glamour is probably a better word to use, right? So we all associate with that. But I think one of the things that everyone forgets is like, it is a very, very cruel sport, right? Like we joke around about it on the weekends when we go out and we can't play our best, but they're sitting there trying to make putts for their mortgages and things like that, which is a completely different level. But they're also living out of a hotel room for 250 days a year, so they're playing all these tournaments and they're by themselves most of the time. So like Cam, you and I travel for work, and I know that's one of the things I struggle with. Like my boss will even ask me, he's like, how have your last couple of trips been? And I'm like, I need to space them out, because when I go on a work trip and I'm by myself, I'm in a hotel room by myself, I'm eating dinner by myself, or you're going out, which that doesn't feel good when you're by yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's like a lot of those lonely nights that people forget about for someone that's playing on the PGA Tour or chasing that dream. So I don't think it's as glamorous, and I don't think it's as good as a lot of people think until you get to that very, that 1% that's making enough money to
Till you're a
live.
Rory McIlroy or a Jordan
Yeah, and to
Spieth
take
or
like the
JT.
private jets with 3 buddies and things like that, and you're renting out a house with a chef, and you've, kind of what. And I think that's one cool thing that like Justin Thomas and Ricky Fowler and Jordan and that kind of crew they've got. They travel a lot together and stuff, but there's a lot of guys out there that they might not be that extroverted personality, and so you get them in a hotel room by themselves, and there's a lot of things you can struggle with, right? And golf can make you feel very, very small, even smaller than losing a business deal, and so I think it's something that a lot of men struggle with. I mean, there's been times when I've got a few buddies that I can just like text and be like, man, the world feels heavy right now. Like this isn't just like rainbows and unicorns, right? And everything's not perfect all the time. And just being able to even say that, like, I hope everyone has someone like that, because when you feel lonely, I think this is what happens, unfortunately, and where you don't actually let yourself admit some of those things, and it feels like too big, right?
Yeah.
Well,
it's like as men, your natural thing is like, no, I can just put my head down right through it, right? And it'll pass, or we'll get through it either way. But yeah, no, I agree. It's nice to have somebody, even if it's 1-2 people, to say like, dude, like life is very hard right now. Life sucks. And then you throw in just, diagnosed mental health issues and addiction, which, Grayson, I believe has been sober almost a year at this point. It would have been. The first thing I thought of when I saw the news was like he's never, like, he was slated to have probably his best year of his career. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that really just kind of shows you how, the stress, the anxiety, the more you climb doesn't necessarily mean your life is just automatically getting easier. Right. He's playing in the major tournaments, he won the Sony. It's hard to talk about, but you need to talk about it, right? You need to talk about, your feelings and then how you are coping with the daily stressors of the world. So.
Absolutely. Tough subject, but I'm glad like we were able to say something about it. And, if anyone is listening and struggling with it, like, please reach out to someone and have a conversation. And even if it's just like family members, or heck, I mean, Cam, Teddy, you guys found a community of golfers, on the internet, right? Like there's a lot that can be said for this new age of what a community feels like. And even if it's just shit talking, back and forth.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of bullies. I wouldn't recommend our group.
That's true.
No, but you know what I mean? There's now like this new age of community, right? Like how would you guys have met before? You probably wouldn't have. So now it's like we're in this spot where you can really reach out and like find people to talk to. So that's my point with it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well said.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Very, very sad. It's just something that affects everybody every day. And like Justin said, just tell somebody, talk to somebody. And then on the other side, like, I think Harry Higgs kind of framed it really nicely, where he said, Harry Higgs, shout out to Harry Higgs, by the way, 2 in a row, Korn Ferry Tour winner.
Yeah.
But he dedicated his speech on this last one last week to be nice to somebody. You don't know what they're going through. And if you are going through it, talk to somebody. And
be nice to someone you love, and be nice to someone you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got the tough subject out of the way there and completed. One last thing, just talk to somebody on both sides of it. All right. So the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial. First tournament there since their big old renovation. Scotty's human. he was in the mix, but Sunday kind of just fell off a little bit. Yeah,
I think that was the surprising thing, was like he didn't start off as he normally does, and then he kind of started to get it going, and it seemed like he was poised to overtake on Sunday, and then just had nothing the front, for 11, 12 holes. I can't remember when he made his first birdie, but he had like 3 bogeys and 10 holes, and that was it.
In his defense, Davis Riley did have a 5-stroke lead going into Sunday.
Yes, that's true.
He I think he was either 1 under or even par, like, which is probably what he knew he had to do going. He's like, just don't make a big number. No big numbers today. And if
it's going to take somebody to chase me down and do something special.
Yeah. I mean, going into Sunday on any tournament with a 5-stroke lead's got to be probably one of the most stressful, but also one of the best feelings in the world, right? Because all it takes is 1 hole, and then you're like, well, there goes that.
Or like a overzealous security guard or something.
Yeah, or just a freak accident in the morning and you end up in the jail cell. Something.
Yeah. But I think I sent the text on like Thursday night, or was it Friday morning, and I was like, this is a perfect storm for Scotty to come back.
Yeah.
Him being so far back. I was like, oh, this reminds me of like Scotty circa 2022.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that early 2023 where it was like, oh yeah, he shoots himself in the foot on the first day because he misses a bunch of putts, and then all of a sudden just starts grinding back and taking a few strokes each day. And I mean, he kind of did that. Obviously he fell a little flat when it came to Sunday, but he still played some great golf. But I mean, Davis Riley just, and honestly, like, people are like, oh yeah, who is this guy? This guy, Davis Riley, has been a stick for a while. Like, he has had a lot of people looking at him wondering what the hell he's been doing for the last year, because he showed up in a few tournaments earlier on this year. I mean, the guy drives the ball a mile. I mean, he hits the ball really well, but he just hasn't been able to perform. And he had a few tournaments, like early in the year, he had a few tournaments that he showed up, and then he just fell off the face of the earth.
He's always seemed like, just in my opinion, like that guy who's just like right there, like to take that next jump, whatever that looks like, you know, as a PGA Tour professional who's probably been pro for 5 years, 6 years. I think he's a Korn Ferry Tour graduate, right?
Ferry Tour, yep.
He did win the Zurich last year. Some people say that doesn't count necessarily as a PGA Tour win. I'm going to count it. It's a team event, right? But, you know, a PGA Tour win is huge for these guys who are right on that line, right? They lock up their card for the next 2 years, I believe, is like, you're going to be a PGA Tour member, and then they just open up the door.
You get exemptions for like up to 5 years out of this tournament,
right? And like you said earlier, these guys they're making putts for their mortgage payment and their you know, daycare for their kiddos. So I wasn't necessarily rooting for Davis Riley, but it would have been just a very sad collapse if that would have happened, where he gave up that 5-shot lead. It would just been, it would have just been like terrible.
It was unfortunate that he got out. I mean, he pretty much was just a head above everybody else, because there were some decent names that were up there too. I thought the course played pretty well. It seemed like it was kind of tough for some of the guys. I think it didn't look great on TV, just with some of the dead spots. I mean, most of that was in the rough and some of the overgrown areas, so I don't think it was too bad. But it seemed like everybody, and the greens looked fantastic. I mean, they looked perfect.
It seemed like where people were playing from, for the most part, was in just fine shape. Like you said, there's definitely, like, especially when the cameras show them walking up a hole, like, oh, like that whole fairway, the width of it is just completely brown and dead, it looks like.
I mean, the greens, though, were playing like rocks. And on Sunday, when that wind started whipping up and it went like, you know, one full on the stimp point, like all of a sudden they became really fast, really quick.
Yeah. So it should be good for, you know, I'm excited to see it next year and kind of see, like, you know, as everything kind of keeps growing in. But I thought, you know, the scoring and everything was a good indication for they did a good job with it at least.
Mhm.
And especially
Yeah,
next year, if they don't get the kind of crazy weather pattern that Texas has been getting this year has been so wet. Every tournament, I mean, any tournament for, was it three or four tournaments in a row for the Champions Tour got rained out, where they shortened everything, and they were all in the Texas
Mhm.
area. And so they were dealing with that this year. And so they got that rain on Thursday and Friday. But
Mhm.
if it's a sunny, warm with some of that Texas wind coming on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I mean, 4 days of warmth and wind drying that thing out and just making it a rock, those scores go down, and I highly doubt you see a Davis Riley 5 ahead.
Mhm. Or if it is, it's because he's 7 under and nobody else is really doing anything. It's just one guy that just has everything going and is getting all the good breaks.
Totally.
Yep. I mean, 2 good rounds going into even a Saturday, Sunday where, most of the field's struggling, like that's going to put you ahead. Like that's what happened. Davis Riley just had 3 good rounds of golf where he didn't really make any mistakes while pretty much everyone else had a little bit more bumps in the road. Shout out, we were talking about senior players. Shout out to Dickie Bland, Cleeks extraordinaire, to win the senior PGA championship.
That's got to be so painful, winning that and then getting all the exemptions and not being able to take advantage of any of them.
They knew the deal, at the time when they left. Like,
totally.
This isn't on our agenda, and
No.
it's kind of straying off the Colonial, but like, I think it was like a year ago right now where they said, yeah, deal's imminent, right? They signed a little agreement or whatever, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it?
No, the independent people resign.
Wasn't it the RBC where all of a sudden Rory was like, we walked into the tournament and then we found this out, and like, Colin Morikawa and everyone would tweeted and it was going kind of crazy.
I thought I saw Michael Kim tweet today, like he's like, yeah, it was like a year ago today. I was playing a practice round for the RBC, yeah, and we found out there was a deal to be struck. It just doesn't seem like it's getting better at all.
No, I don't even think they know what they're doing. I mean, it's a board trying to guide a ship. They don't have like a president or anything like that. I mean, they've got Jay Monahan, but he is not.
He's not part of the problem that created this.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not the one who can make a decision and be like, "Oh, this is done." It's got to come down to boards making changes and stuff like that. It's going to take a long, long time.
Yeah, it was June 6th of last year is when.
So in a week.
Yeah.
When it broke.
So back to Colonial real quick before we veer too far off the road.
Hey, listen, that's what I'm good at.
Yeah, I know. I like the getting sidetracked because I do the same thing. But we were talking about like scores, etc. I just have to throw it out there. Who I picked as the winner, he played horrible. Can anyone like reach out to
For
Max
the listeners,
Homa and
he picked
right?
Max Homa.
Jeez Louise. Max, what are you doing to me, man? With the driving accuracy and how you handle your irons, and you can get hot with the putter, but I didn't think you were going to go +8 on the first day.
Yeah, he was struggling to break 80.
Yeah,
brutal.
He had nothing going.
Everything was wrong. So clearly I didn't get any points this week for that, which is brutal.
No points for you. That's correct.
Gosh, Max, please come back.
Which sucks because he's like the guy that he's a popular player, right? And people people are rooting for Max. Like they go to tournaments to watch Max Homa play.
Yeah,
he's got a following.
Yeah, and it's like I just paid $90 to get in this tournament, and you're going to shoot 79.
Yeah,
to break 80.
Yeah,
like if you're like Tiger Woods, you're like, yeah, I don't care what you shoot. I'm just here to watch you swing a golf club, however many times you swing a golf club. But like Max Homa's in his prime. He's like the player. He's like the viewer's player. He's one of the guys. He's doing the YouTube stuff. He roasts people on Twitter, which I think is very funny, on their swings and stuff. He does it sporadically,
Yeah, I was gonna say he hasn't done that
He's
for a while, but that kind
He's
of
on
got
Twitter
his,
for like 3 hours doing it though. Like whenever he does it, it's kind of
yeah. He goes on the like little rants, and then all of a sudden he just stays off of it for a while. But yeah, that was what got his popularity early on. It was, I mean, he's got some funny shit that he posts.
yeah. So long story short, Justin sucked at picking the winner and DFLs for the Colonial.
Hey, I came close with my DFL. DFL was close to
Yeah.
the first
Max
one.
Homa finished DFL more than any of our picks. Like, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
He was the
well,
worst one out of all.
I'm making a comeback this week, boys. RBC, I got some good picks under my sleeve
Okay.
for this one. So
All right.
Well, should
All right,
we
so we
should
know
we
who
go over
Justin-
the points for
Yeah.
Colonial? Yeah. Okay.
Let's do that. So Justin's winner was Max Homa, who did not win, did not make the cut. He was close to actual DFL. What do we want to go through? Just all Justin's picks, and we'll do your picks. And
Yeah.
my picks?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Justin also for the DFL picked Rory Sabatini. He unfortunately was beat by Teddy's pick in being closer to last place. So
0.
what was your cut line? Sorry.
My
Even.
Yeah, I was right at even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you didn't get that one either. Sorry.
No, I got nothing.
So Justin put up a goose egg this past week with the Charlie Schwab. So then Teddy, your cut line was 2 under.
2 under. Not even close.
Not even close. 4 strokes off. You tried. You tried. No points. Your DFL, which is what won, was Hayden Springer.
It was a good pick.
Who beat Rory Sabatini to be DFL, closest to DFL by 1 stroke. Where do you know of Hayden Springer? Like, where did that pick come from?
I was just looking, and he had played like shit all year, and was in the field. Was probably lucky to be in the field.
Gotcha.
And it can go one of 2 ways. He can either do a top. I thought I was doing him a favor by picking him, and that he would, make a cut.
Well, yeah.
Reverse. Yeah.
And possibly do something. However, he stayed true to himself and missed the cut for like the 7th time this year. So
True to himself.
Yeah. So
tough sledding for Hayden Springer.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Well, I mean, I guess with that,
But
we've
you got a
proved
point.
that whoever you pick's not going to play well.
Yeah.
So,
I did get a point. I was happy about that. I really thought, because I picked Tony Finau for my winner, and after day 1, I was feeling really good.
I kind of knew that your pick, Tony, and my pick were gonna like be close.
Yeah.
So I was kind of watching it for sure, and luckily my pick kind of
And honestly,
made less mistakes than Tony did.
that's true. But Keegan was playing really good. I thought maybe he, especially like in the afternoon Saturday, like I kind of thought maybe he was going to be one of like the 3 guys that were going to be able to do something on Sunday and catch up. But
at one point, I'm like, Keegan Bradley's going to win, and I'm going to get 3 points, and this is going to be sick.
Gonna be a huge day.
Yeah. Luckily, he tied with Scotty right for second, and only got beat by the winner Davis Riley. So I was still pretty close.
It was a good pick.
So, transitioning, I got a point for picking Keegan Bradley to be outright winner. He was the closest to being the winner, tied for second.
he made a push there on Sunday to get ahead of Scheffler, which was awesome to watch.
He made like a 50-foot putt for birdie on Sunday to push him to that number. He finished, I think it was 9 under.
Yeah, 1 ahead of Scotty.
Yep. So a point for there. And then I also picked the cut line, which I just used last year's number. It seemed like it was pretty good, kind of just baseline of +2, and it was right on the dot. So another point for me. So
Kudos
2 points
to you.
this week. What does that put us at?
So right now that gets us to Cam, you are in the lead at 8 points. And then Justin and I are tied at 4 points.
What? Come on, Teddy.
Wow,
4
guys.
points.
Hey, you guys' points combined still not
That's-
beating you. Just
We need to get a comeback coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick a winner this week. Justin, you can pick the winner next week.
So as a reminder, if you pick the outright winner, dead on, they win. You win 3 points. If you're closest to, you get 1. Everything else, if you pick outright, it's still just the 1 point. So the most you can get is 3, 4, 5 points. But doable. Very doable. Still early, guys. Still early.
We got a lot of golf this year. I'm either going to come out of this winning or I'm going to be half of your points all year long. So,
yeah. All right. Do we want to go to the Canadian Open just because we're doing picks, or we want to transition to the U.S. Women's Open?
Let's do the U.S. Women's Open.
Yeah. All right. So the U.S. Women's Open's this week. Where are they playing, Teddy?
They are playing at one of your favorite places. Oh wait, no, they're not.
Lancaster Country Club.
Yeah,
Lancaster, PA.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool, Teddy. When we played Pine Needles, that was like a month after they played the U.S. Women's Open there. That was pretty cool. Great track there. Have you been to Lancaster, Pennsylvania? Either of you two?
2 weeks ago, I drove like 20 miles away from it. That's as close as I've ever been.
Nice.
So
I assume no. I've never been myself, so just want to see what the feel of the town was. But we do not have
it's pretty country.
We don't have the expertise there. It sounds country. I mean, Lancaster.
Yeah. They could see some Amish people. That's pretty close to Amish land.
Mm-hmm.
But they are they're playing it as a par 70 this year. Or no, wait. In 2000,
so a couple long par 4s.
Yeah, they played it as a par 70. But it is kind of interesting. They're playing it as a long course this year. It's 6,583 yards.
Is that long?
It's pretty long for a women's tournament.
For a women's tournament, I think it's extremely long.
What'd they play the Chevron at?
You know, you would ask a question like that when I wouldn't have that information.
Someone at Chevron.
But think about this too, Cam. The Colonial is only playing 7,200, so they're playing a 6,600 versus 7,200. I mean,
7,300.
Yeah. So
but
I mean,
still,
700-800 yard
not
difference.
hitting
Like
340-yard drive.
That's significant.
Yeah, but they hit the ball so much further.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a single LPGA Tour player that's got a driving average over 290. I would say maybe that's the longest drive that they would get. So, I mean, they're hitting the ball substantially less distance.
Well, and I think off the tee, some of them can get some pretty good pokes, but I think it's mainly with like the irons.
They're going to be taking hybrids in where like the guys are taking 8 irons.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a good distance for them to play. I mean, that's what Cam, that's probably what you play. Most of your courses are going to be 6,400. I know.
I go from pretty much like I try and get as close to 65 to 6,700 when I play.
Yeah. And and here the average driving distance for the LPGA in 2024, the top driver is Austin Kim, and she's at 277 yards.
And she's a guy, so I mean, what's that saying?
Well, she's a guy, so we are just joking. Okay, guys, calm down.
Her name was Austin.
But so you've got someone who hits the ball pretty far. I mean, is known to hit the ball pretty far. Bailey Tardy from the States. She's only at 269 yards.
Time out. None of this matters because obviously Nelly Corder is going to win it. All right, like.
And she's 25th. She's down at 264 driving for yards. So,
yeah, she just wins though. Like that's what she does.
Yeah,
it's got to be the lift pier.
Yeah, it could be the lip here. I will say, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Charlie Hall signing autographs and stuff, but she's probably my new favorite golfer outside of Nelly Corda because she has been ripping heaters. Like, there's all the press and stuff because it's the U.S. Open, right? And so, like, anytime they show her, like, if she's walking like off the tee box and like going down the fairway, signing autographs, like she's got either the cigarette is either in her mouth or in her hand.
Really?
And
I think what she does during like actual tournament plays is goes to a vape.
Sure, that's fair.
But yeah, there was video of her. She's signing autographs to little kids, just like 3-inch ash hanging off the cigarette, like just huffing and puffing. I don't agree, Teddy, with the take. I grew up around cigarette smokers. I hate
think
the smell of cigarette smoke.
More golfers should be smoking cigarettes. We need to get off this vape kick.
I think it's good for like golf needs more characters, and if that's going to be a character, like we need that as a sport, because that's back in the day. I mean, a lot of tour players are probably just walking down the fairway ripping heaters with their caddies, right?
John Daly.
John Daly still does it. He doesn't drink water; he drinks Diet Cokes.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm at a golf tournament and this golfer signing an autograph for my kid is like literally just smoking right in their face. I'm not going to be like super stoked about it.
I mean, if they're still lining up for the autograph though, that's a parenting problem at that point. That's not Charlie's problem. That's the parents' fault.
All right, I guess
that is crazy. I just found that video.
Yeah,
there's video of her walking down like off a tee box after she teed off, and then also the one signing like she's a smoker.
Yeah,
she's great. She's a great Instagram follow too. So
yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like she posts all the time on Instagram about going to like the gym and stuff like that, and here she is just ripping heaters. I didn't even would have never known
just
that.
One stick away from emphysema. Yeah,
it's stressful. Like just playing in your weekend game, golf is stressful. You're prepping for the U.S. Open.
Wait, is this a look into the future because she's a Malbon player? Is this what Jason Day?
She is Malbon, yeah.
Oh my! Imagine Jason Day
ripping heaters.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
she's from England, I think.
She is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's crazy, huh? Noted.
Every time, like I'm gonna watch a little bit of the U.S. Women's Open and be like, just show Charlie Hole ripping a heater right now. Come on,
that's all I want.
I'm rooting for it, but nah.
Well, speaking of women's golf, Lexi Thompson retired at the ripe old age of 29.
She's retiring. She has not
retiring. She's gonna play the rest of the year. True. So,
well, with the exemptions that she's got.
She's struggled pretty hard the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, in my opinion, anyone that putts with their glove on is going to struggle, period. So
sure,
like, if she'd remove her glove when she was putting, she'd improve a lot.
Science. I'm kind of with you today. It's got to be burnout, right? She played her first U.S. Open at 12 years old.
Which that's insane.
That is very insane. But that means what? 17 years of just golf. Like 12 years old to 18 is just. It's crazy to think like where I was from 12 to 18 and what people are doing like Lexi Thompson was at 12 to 18, just playing professional golf, right?
I couldn't leave my room.
Yeah.
I just got in cable.
Yeah. Yeah, the blurry channel and all that. I got you.
But you've got all these kids now. There's even more kids coming out doing this because the whole Tiger Woods like idea of just like grind your kids away into one sport. You've got that Miles Russell who's 15, and he made that cut on the Korn Ferry Tour at 15 years old. And then Blades Brown, I think was the kid's name. I mean, he's instant star with the name Blades, but he's like 16 and made his Korn Ferry like debut. He made the cut. It's gonna be interesting how some of these kids turn out like that, because you're right. Lexi like started playing a lot. I mean, it's just kind of like the same thing as Michelle Wee, right? They both kind of came on the scene and did the same thing.
Both retired at like 30.
Yeah,
unreal.
And I mean, Michelle Wee, like she came back after because she left. She stepped away.
And came back, right?
Yeah, had a kid. I think she contemplated, coming back or not. Tried coming back and just kind of, it was almost like a celebrity tour sort of thing. Not that she didn't compete, but I think the want wasn't quite there as much as it was before.
Yep.
So, I mean, and Lexi could be doing the same thing where it's, maybe mentally she's just not in it anymore, or her heart's not in it. It's tough to practice, and maybe she just wants to step away and start a family, or pursue any other passions or careers. She's young enough. I mean, she can get into tech sales and make a killing now if she wants. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe she's going to start a tech company.
Yeah.
The craziest stat to me about this whole situation is she's only won one major. No, it's 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane.
Like, for being the poster child of the LPGA, probably for a decade, to only have one major. I mean, I've admittedly haven't paid much attention to women's pro golf, but have there been like that many players better than her that I just don't know about?
I mean,
for a long time, you hear LPGA, you think of Lexi.
But a lot of her notoriety within the LPGA is because she hits the ball so far. Like, and remember last year she played in the Shriners Open?
Mm-hmm.
So she made it to the Shriners Open, and she was keeping up with the guys on drives. Her driver 3-wood combo is legit. I mean, she hits the ball a long ways. But I think where she runs into problems and what has happened the last 2 years, where it's been like publicly an issue, is putting. And you saw it at the Solheim Cup last year too. I mean, there was 2 or 3 putts.
I didn't watch the Solheim Cup last year, so I didn't see anything, Justin.
Yeah, I watched the Solheim Cup.
I was gonna say, Justin, you could be our resident LPGA.
I mean,
you have a daughter who's into golf. You're going to be the one that's probably going to be more in tune with
correct,
LPGA and women's golf.
But I mean, it was. I don't want to say it was embarrassing, but it was like, oh damn, like.
But you just felt bad for her watching her putt.
Yeah, like there was a couple like 4-footers where it was like, oh crap, that wasn't even like relative to the hole. That was like a Cam and I putt.
Hey, easy. Speaking of feeling bad for putts, so I rewatched the 2015 U.S. Open at Chambers Bay, and I did not realize this, but Justin Johnson 3-putted the last hole to par when he needed to make a birdie to tie Jordan Spieth, and he missed like a 3-footer. It just went right by the hole.
It was tough. It was a tough look.
This was 9 years ago, and I feel bad for you right now, Dustin Johnson.
Well, I don't think any of us actually feel bad for him right now.
He's living his best life.
$1 million boat with Paulina Gretzky and Wayne.
I do really quick. I do want to make this comparison though between like Lexi and Ricky Fowler. So like both Cobra, Puma athletes, and pretty similar careers up until this point. Obviously, Lexi started way younger.
Lexi's got more majors too.
She does have more majors. More majors.
More wins.
And he's frozen.
That's fine.
Fuck. But so
Teddy gets let him cook and he just freezes up. Like man was cooking.
But so it is kind of funny though, like how like linear their like professional careers have been as far as like rankings, wins, and like ranked amongst their peers and everything.
Sure.
It's interesting.
Well, maybe it's just
really
the product.
Makes you think.
Maybe it
could be the product.
Maybe anyone swinging a Cobra driver is just going to stay mid.
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there before we moved on. That's all.
Yeah. Thanks for throwing that out there, Teddy.
Yeah, no problem. I'll throw it out there anytime. All right. Should we move on to the Canadian Open now, I guess?
We should move on to the Canadian Open.
So it's at Hamilton Golf and Country Club, a very historic place. I didn't realize this until I started to look into it. The Hamilton Golf Country Club was founded in 1894.
So it's
Dang.
old golf course.
Very old. Well, so the golf club was founded
130 years.
At a nearby, I can't remember which town it was founded in, but it was there for about 20 years. And then they bought another piece of land at where it's currently at in 1916 and built the course. They built 18 holes. And that's where they've been ever since. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then they added, so it's 27 holes now. They added another 9 holes sometime in the 70s, I believe. And then they actually recently did a restoration after the tournament was there in 2019 when Rory won. After that, they did a full restoration, reopened in 2022. So it should be nice and grown in and full now.
Interesting.
The RBC Canadian Open, do they have like I imagine they do. Has anybody seen like their rotation of golf courses? Because I see our notes here. Rory, it was here in 2019, and Rory won.
Yes.
How many courses do they rotate through? 3, 4, 5?
No, I think it's so. I believe we're at Hamilton Country Club. I think they've done it maybe like 7 or 8 times since the teens, or maybe the 20s. The first one was either late teens or early 20s. And so it's been there 7 or 8 times since. So I don't think it's just a few courses. I think they try to spread it out.
So there's 3 clubs that have hosted 5 Opens: Toronto Golf Club, St. George's Golf and Country Club, Hamilton Golf and Country Club, and then there's 3 clubs that have hosted 4 Opens each: Lambton Golf Club, Shaughnessy Golf and Country Club, and Scarborough Golf and Country Club. So there's a bunch of different courses that have actually hosted.
Yeah.
Open. I mean, it's even more vast than like the US Opens.
Yeah. I mean, Canada's pretty big, so.
Fact.
Confirmed. Canada is a massive, massive country.
Except they have horrible tasting coffee. I went there in like 2018, and McDonald's was voted the coffee.
Not Tim Hortons.
A lot of people rave about McDonald's coffee though.
Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. I'm in Toronto, and it was voted Canada's #1 coffee. I was like, what in the hell?
McDonald's coffee. Now, if you get like the frozen or ice, like all that stuff, it's awful. But like their regular like
drip coffee?
hot coffee is pretty good.
Huh.
I wouldn't say like, I mean, I'd rather go to any hipster coffee barista. Like I'd much rather go to a place like that. Yeah. But like in a pinch, like hot drip coffee from McDonald's isn't that bad. But I thought Canada was more like Tim Hortons for everything.
Totally.
So I'm surprised.
Tim Hortons biscuits and gravy, like yeah.
But it is kind of funny how it's so regional, because like being from the West Coast, I'm in the East Coast right now, and it's like Dunkin' everywhere.
Yeah.
But like we don't even have a Dunkin' Donuts in Oregon where I'm at.
You're not missing anything.
So it's like, but
Dunkin' coffee is trash.
But we have Starbucks everywhere, and so you don't see Starbucks over here. It's kind of
well. I think Dunkin' start.
Dunkin's East Coast. Dunkin' is the East Coast of Starbucks,
and Tim Hortons is the Canadian Dunkin', right?
Tim Hortons is like the Canadian Cracker Barrel is the way I take it.
Did we just insult a bunch of Canadians?
We might have. Minutes? I don't think I would compare. I thought Tim Hortons was whatever. Well, we're getting way off track. But I don't believe
hashtag sidetrack.
I don't believe Tim Hortons is more similar to Cracker Barrel. I thought it was more of like a fast food.
Is it?
Sort of deal. Pretty sure.
It is home of Canada's favorite coffee. That's their first thing to see.
Tim Hortons, so not McDonald's. Although this was 2018.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was. This was.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely fast food. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's their Dunkin'. I like that comparison. Yeah.
All right, so back to the Canadian Open before we insult way too.
Oh, we're talking about
Canadians.
golf. Okay.
We are now. So, yeah, about that.
So last year's tournament was cool. I mean, Nick Taylor, Tommy Fleetwood,
playoff was awesome.
4-hole playoff.
Playoff.
Yeah.
Playoff.
Talk about playoff. When what was it, Taylor? I was reading the stat on it today. It was 72 feet. Did you know it was that long of a putt? I didn't.
I knew it was 50 plus, but I didn't realize it was 72 feet that he made that eagle putt.
72 feet.
That's a what? Like a less than 1% chance make on the tour
Yeah.
to
if
win a
that.
tournament.
To win a
whole
tournament.
playoff.
Yeah.
Tommy
So,
Fleetwood still winless on the PGA Tour. RIP to that guy.
I don't.
You want to
He's
root for him, but he just never gets it done.
yeah. He's playing all right. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
he's playing good.
yeah. I mean, he does have a chance this week. He could.
Well,
He could play
I'm
really
sure
well.
one of you's picking him this week. So
Maybe go fuck yourself.
Whoa, beep.
you know, it's funny. Look at the
Wrong.
scores of last year. Nick Taylor shot a 75 in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was way behind. It was really. I looked that up too.
And
Never out
came
of it.
back, shot 67, 63, 66.
Yep. And Tommy Fleetwood was playing solid like all week. 2 under, 2
70,
under,
70,
8 under, 5
64,
under.
67. Yeah.
Yep.
So they went to the playoffs at 17 under on Sunday.
And then what was it in 2021 and 22? That's when Rory won again, and that was 19 under. And your boy Tony Finau was there at 17 under. Justin Thomas was 15 under. Sam Burns at 14. Like 21 and 22 RBC. That is a pretty stacked field. There's a lot of people in there. Wyndham.
Yeah,
Lowry.
usually the RBC is like a pretty competitive field.
Scheffler was there. Adam Scott.
Scheffler's not there this week, right?
No, he took a week off.
He has an arraignment.
Yeah.
That's next week though. That's the week before, or that's the week of. Why am I blanking on the tournament next week?
So, and then in 2019, Rory won again. So Rory won in 2019 and 2021.
Guy wins tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get it out of the way right now. Since I get to pick first, I'm picking Rory McIlroy. So,
solid
right,
choice.
winner. Rory.
Interesting. All right.
I want him to win. I want him to win a major this year. I think it'd be great if he won the U.S. Open.
Okay, well he shouldn't win.
Yeah, if you want him to win a major, do you really want him to win this tournament then?
Yeah, that means I get 3 points. It's fully selfish as to why.
Yeah,
I want him to win this
I was gonna say you're
True.
so greedy for your boy.
That's fair.
You gotta remember, like Rory's the type of guy who can win like one after the other, like Scheffler's been doing. He's done it before. Like he's had seasons where he's won 3, 4, 5 tournaments.
Can agree with that.
What are we talking about here?
All right, so you're picking Rory. Who's next, Teddy? Is it you or I?
It'll be Teddy because he got a point. You did not.
Fact.
Yes,
okay,
that's
Teddy.
correct.
So outright winner for me and Rory. Teddy, who's your outright winner?
So I don't want to try to make up for possibly insulting all of Canada. All 2 of the Canadians that could possibly be listening. But I'm gonna go with Corey Connors.
Ooh.
It's the home open. He
Say that 10 times fast.
He's played pretty well at the Canadian Open. I think last year he came in, was he top 5, top 10? He's got a couple of top 5s, top 10s, whichever. Mm-hmm. And it's not like he's been playing bad this year. He hasn't been able to put together 4 good rounds. And maybe this is the week, and a little more inspiration, closer to home, and yeah, maybe this is the week he gets it done.
I could see that happening. That'd be
Corey's with Sahith and Tommy Fleetwood on Thursday. Yeah, round 1 and 2 parents. So
morning round.
Yeah, 9:33 a.m. tee time. Right, probably the middle of the tee times, if I had to guess.
That was a great transition, Cam, because speaking of Sahith, that's my pick.
Okay.
Putting him down.
One guy I was eyeballing was Sahith, and then also Cam Young. I just had a feeling about Cam Young. So
I think
really?
Sahith hits the ball. He can putt. He can get hot. Like he can make a lot of birdies. And I think this thing's going to turn into a birdie fest.
Do you think? Well, with that in mind, Cam, what do you think the cut's going to be?
2 under.
2 under?
Yep. It was 1 under last year.
Justin, I'll let you go.
No,
next
no,
for
I'm
the
not
cup.
jumping in front of you. When I get when I get to move up in the order, it's because I earned it.
It's fair.
And I just want to put more pressure on you for a number.
I'll go even. I'm gonna go even. Even for the cut.
Does Justin actually believe it's going to be a birdie fest? Will he go lower than 2 under?
Yeah, I was.
He just
It's hard
texted me.
'cause-
He's thinking about saying 6 under.
Yeah.
Is that really what you want to go with, Justin?
I
6
think
under
it
is
will.
for a
I
cut.
think it's going to
really
go pretty low, but geez, even like I'm looking at some of these previous numbers and I'm like, crap, can you really think that a cut's going to be 3 under? I mean,
you just texted me 6, so
that was so false, but I do appreciate that. So, you know what? I'll just go the same. If you're going 2, I'm going 1 under.
Okay, splitting the difference.
Yeah, gotta
Bold
stay
pick.
there somewhere.
Really going out on a limb there, Justin.
Yeah, I know. You know what? When you're behind and you got to make up some ground, you gotta take a safe pick here and there.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm
then,
going with.
So here's everybody's favorite pick now, the DFL, dead friggin' last.
Yeah.
or in
I
Justin's
feel like
case,
I have to.
Yeah, or I just kind of screwed Sahith and he's gonna come in DFL, which is awesome. But I do have to, like, they've got a few amateurs here, so we're gonna say can't pick the AMs. That's not one.
No
you can throw.
Yeah,
amateurs.
no amateurs.
Are we taking out the senior tour players as well,
Nope.
or is that
Nope.
someone that's up for grabs?
You can pick whoever you want as long as they don't have
yeah,
a little A next to their name.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay.
You can go senior tour. Jesus.
All right, my pick.
It is your pick.
I'm going with dead last, Mike Weir.
What?
He's Canadian.
You're good. That's
He's old.
a crazy pick.
He plays pretty damn well, Cam. Like, he is not getting dead last.
Hey, who's in the lead?
Yeah.
Okay. Enough, guys. Make your
All right.
picks.
Interesting. Okay. So we're just gonna keep going back and forth with these Canadians. I was not prepared for our last pick.
Hey, I was scrolling while y'all were talking.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm gonna go Ben Taylor. Big Ben Taylor. English guy. Doesn't have a great record at all on the PGA Tour. I'll be honest, I don't know how he's in this field. He's made 30 grand this year. Yeah, it's not he's missed the last 3 cuts. It was 10 over at the Charlie Schwab, 6 over at Myrtle. Oh my God. He's missed every cut outside of the Zurich, where he came in 37th. I'm not sure who his partner was. And then he was T64 at the Farmers, where he shot even. So I would imagine he was right around the cut and just kind of stayed there. So Ben Taylor, this could be the week that changes your life, or I get a point because of you. So
personally, I will be putting 10 units on Ben Taylor to outright win. 10 units on Ben Taylor to top 10.
Seriously. Might
so
be
$5.
this guy.
That'd be, I guess, it'd be 10 total.
You know, I'm gonna take a Canadian, just because I gotta throw a Canadian a bone in here for us to win something.
what?
I'm going with Matt.
Cam already put Mike Weir.
I picked Mike
Weir,
who's Canadian.
For my pick.
I picked Corey Connors.
I know, and I haven't picked a Canadian yet. I said Sahith.
Okay, true.
So, we're going Max here.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I've never heard of him.
Nope, never heard of him. I can't find any stats on him. I know.
Let me make sure he doesn't have the old A next to his name. You're not
He
trying to get
doesn't.
one over on
I've
us.
double checked. I even triple checked this. But playing with Sam Choi and Will Bateman. Yeah. Let me see here. Will it give me anything? Overview. He was
Why?
born
How come
in.
when I Google Max Sear Canada golf profile, it looks like a picture of Xander Schauffele? What are we doing?
I
No,
don't think
more
that.
like Patrick Cantlay.
Yeah,
No,
he's a
it
Canadian
is literally a
Cantlay.
picture of Maxwell Sear or Xander Schauffele.
So he's played in
Just
one
before you
event.
click into the link. Sorry.
He's played in one event on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, 9 Canadian. He's only made $3,000 this year.
Yeah, not great.
Hey.
You know what? He played the Farmers Insurance Open in 2021, 2022. So
Yeah, I'm looking at his 2023 stats. Not great. A lot of cuts.
I gotta give myself a shot. So I'm hoping that he finishes worse than Sahith. So that's a win for me this week.
Sure.
yeah.
Fair.
So
This might be your week here, Justin, picking a guy who's never played a golf tournament.
Maybe he's just trying to go like guys named Max. Maybe he's
just
trying to find
PGA Tour
some sort of-
Canada, 20 events played, 0 wins, 8 of 20 cuts made, 0 third places, 0 top 5, and 0 top 10.
Yeah, he's played.
How
he's
is
played
he
9 total PGA Tour events, and he's missed 6 cuts. So
I love how
Yeah,
we're
that's-
just ripping on this guy. Like
any of
would
us have
boat
a
race all
have a
3 of us
shot.
in a scramble. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, I know that's the irony of this. Speaking of, we just went through Memorial Day weekend, and we didn't talk about any of the golf. I mean, obviously, I mentioned it saying that golf. It's officially golf season here. But did you guys play golf this weekend?
Personally, I did. I played at the Mecca, the home of so there's 2 Azalea tournaments. One is in, I believe, Charleston, South Carolina. I think that's the most of the college kids playing that one, but there's also one in Palaca, Florida. They've held it for,
Which is just south of Jax, right?
Yes, just outside of Jacksonville. There's some big name. Peter Uline won it one year. They usually get a pretty deep field.
Live golf.
It's a tiny course, par 70, maybe 63.
Donald Ross Classic, if I'm not mistaken. He breathed on it.
It's debatable. Yeah, he definitely breathed on it. Don't know if he ever set foot on the property. He might have just signed one of the pages of the plans, and that could have been all he did for it. But it's a fun little course. A bunch.
What'd you shoot, Teddy? I want to hear this.
So I shot 5 over. It wasn't. I hit the ball really well, but the conditions were less than stellar. Greens, maybe like half of them, not half the greens, but half of each green had grass on it. And that grass was sometimes, a quarter inch long, sometimes 2 inches long. It was tough. Putting was tough. So couldn't really make, like 3-footers were,
give or take.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 shot. But I hit the ball really well. I was happy. I had like 3 birdies, I think. So I'll take that. And yeah, it's a good track. It's fun. There's a lot of dog legs. Every green is raised, and it's like a little turtle shell. Very small. So you got to hit some interesting shots to even hold the greens, even in the conditions that they were in. And you can take some fun lines out there. You don't necessarily need to hit driver. You can pretty much hit every club in your bag and get through all 18 holes, which to me, that makes a really good golf course is when you can hit every club in your bag and hit a bunch of different shots. So I enjoyed it. It was super hot, but we got there super early, like second group out. I was back home at my apartment at like 11. So
who was in your group? Who was it?
So it was a couple of our mutual friends. It was Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Tom, and Mr. Whipple. And it was just a good day with the boys.
Yeah, it's a good group. Good group of boys.
Solid group.
Cam, did you get out there?
I did not. So we went to what's called Jellystone Park, which is like a Yogi Bear themed campground. So my wife and my son and I rented a cabin on property. My brother has a pull behind camper that, he brought to one of their campsites. It's a massive place. There's probably 400 different type of lots, all mixed between cabins and, just even camp or tent camping. So we went there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, got back Monday, and then I went and grabbed some stuff we're doing our landscaping this weekend. So I will not be playing golf again. But no, I didn't play
If you
golf.
keep skipping this golf, we're not going to be able to do a Cam Breaks 80 series here.
Well, buddy, I'm making up for it as I'm playing Chambers Bay. I'm in Seattle right now, playing Chambers Bay tomorrow afternoon, and then Thursday playing somewhere up in Wenatchee with a client. So
Nice.
I am playing golf the next 2 days.
Better than nothing.
Justin, did you play?
I actually got to play all 4 days.
Whoa!
I played, no, all 3 days. So I took my daughter out of school, went up to Portland on Friday for another golf tournament, and we played Langdon Farms, which a buddy of mine is the assistant super up there, and it was in awesome shape. But I'm starting to learn that taking my daughter on rounds of golf with her friends, because we had another girl that was there, it is so incredibly difficult for me to focus on actually playing golf that it ends up just being bogey golf. And then Saturday she played in a tournament, and she has got like a 120-yard slice going on with her driver right now, and if she toes it, it's really big. And so the cool thing about US Kids is I get to caddy for her, and 18 is a perfect example. This is a tree-lined course too. Like it was one of those courses where, like, Teddy, you would probably hit 5-iron off every tee and be totally fine, but it better be in play. And there was a
Well, you've never seen me hit a driver, Justin.
There was a road that was parallel to 18 fairway, and I literally looked across the road and I said, aim at that apartment complex. She's like, Dad, if I hit it straight, I'm hitting it in the cars. I'm like, we will deal with that when that happens.
You ain't hit one straight all day. It's fine.
I am 99% sure that we are safe with this bet. And it just curved right into the fairway, and I was like, sweet. So but it was a tough day for her.
You would have felt real dumb if she would have put it out on the road.
No.
Which
The
is
other
what
dad
happens.
was looking at me and he was like,
correct the slice.
That
Yes.
far? And I was like, what'd you say?
Coming from knowing this from experience, that is what happens when you try to correct the slice that way. You end up pulling it dead straight on your target line.
Yeah.
I've done it many times. I'll do it tomorrow. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So, and then after the round, we went to Top Golf. So my daughter's officially turning into a little golf nerd, which is super fun. So we went from golf course to Top Golf, and then we decided to go visit some of the golf shops in the area. So we went to like 2 golf shops after that to try and golf.
Dude, that's a dream. Day.
Sounds like you got a tough life going on right now, Justin.
She was so pumped. So we drove home, and then man, it was tough to play on Sunday. Ended up shooting an 80. I had 38 putts. That'll a record high. I was pretty pissed about that.
You need to go get that lab putter.
But well, like, I wasn't hitting bad putts. I'm not reading the greens, like not playing enough or playing too much break and trying to be conservative. Honestly, on Saturday, it was more like my driver was just everywhere. I'm still trying to figure out that driver shaft I got. And Sunday, I finally started hitting some shots with it. So went out and shot a 73, but I still had 34 putts. So there was three.
But do you think that was that just proximity to the whole issue, or was it like these putts that you were missing? Like, what was the average distance, would you say?
Oh, like on the first 5 holes, I missed 3 birdie putts that like rode the left edge.
Yeah, but what distance were these?
Oh, 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, you're going to have those days where you're playing really well and you're hitting fairways, you're hitting greens, But proximity, I mean, you just got to keep giving yourself chances and, hopefully make a couple of them. But 10 to 15 footers, like, I mean, we see the pros make them all the time, but that's because they're showing every pro that makes a 10 to 15 footer. Like,
Yeah, you feel like
So
that's normal when it's not.
yeah, it's not. It's unrealistic. You got to lower the expectations. But a 73, and I mean, that's solid.
Yeah, it was 6,600 yards. We were playing from the green, so I mean, it's a fun course to play. I hit some really good shots. I even 3-putted number 17. Hit this is a 470-yard par 4, and I hit a blistering drive. I had about 125 in, and the wind was kind of with me. That's why I hit the drive so far, because the wind was going with us. And we were like, oh, that's close. And we get up there and it is 40 feet away. It was such a letdown. I was like, damn it. That sucks.
I won't be surprised if I have 40 putts tomorrow.
So since you're playing Chambers Bay, and Jess and I, we're not jealous whatsoever, but should we maybe do a bonus point this week? And try to guess Cam's score at Chambers.
So if Cam breaks 85 at Chambers Bay, does he get a bonus point?
We'll see what he picks.
I'll let you guys pick. Do you want to do score and putts? I keep track of putts just so I have another number to keep track.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
So if you're in last place, do I get to
notes,
go first?
Things to note. Yeah. Things to note. It's walking only. I will have a caddy, so I won't be carrying the bag. I'm going to be tired by probably hole 6. Just putting it out there.
Yep.
So take that information and do what you will with it.
I feel like a huge dick for this, but I've got a bunch of buddies who have played that course, and so I'm going 96.
96.
Like you're gonna break 100, but it's at like hole 15, you're gonna be like, shit, I've got to make two pars.
I gotta make some par. Yeah.
Otherwise, this is gonna be tough.
How many putts do you think, Justin?
I'm going. We're just gonna use the same number, so I'll go 38.
38 putts. Okay. That's I like those numbers. I'm gonna say Cam is going to shoot. I forgot that he had a caddy.
Oh, you got a caddy?
Yeah, I will have a caddy on the back.
He's gonna have a caddy.
That helps at least on the putting aspect of it.
Well, he still has to.
I have to execute.
So I'm gonna go with a 91, which I think is respectable. It's Chambers Bay. Never been there before. I have no idea what's in store. It's a pretty crazy course.
It is.
I think there's going to be a lot to take in, a lot of distractions. So I think you're going to shoot 91, and I think you should be.
He was about to give you a really big compliment right there, Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I shoot, my goal is to break 90. Like if I break 90, I'm like, that's a successful day for me at Chambers Bay. You cut out a little bit, but I got the gist of what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go 91, and I'm gonna go 36 putts.
Okay.
36 putts. He's gonna have somebody reading them, but I just think it's gonna be a lot of lag putts, and
playing the sand tees, which is just over 6,500 yards, by the way.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
Here's my predictions. I'm shooting 86.
86.
Whoa, okay. Big dog.
I'm going to have 2 birdies on the card. And I'm going to have 32 putts.
32 putts on that course?
That's quite literally what I do every time I go play golf. 86, 32 putts, 2 birdies.
Yeah, I think those greens look a little diabolical. I mean, there's a couple holes where there's some tears on there that'll play with your mind a little bit. So I think it'll be tough.
Well, I'm hoping. I got the GoPro charging up. I'm hoping to get a bunch of footage, some shots. It's going to depend on my playing partners, just how the game's going, pace of play, all that good stuff. But, I'm hoping to get some really cool swings, cool views. It's one of the coolest looking courses I've ever seen. on like YouTube and all that stuff. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a good
So
time.
here's a question for you: are you playing with customers, or are you just going out as a single?
This is just me. When I checked the tee sheet, there was still one spot open.
Okay.
I'm thinking I might be with some locals or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you were playing with customers, I think you'd have a hard time with that 86. If you get a few locals in there that can, have some fun and show you some of the
Loosen up
spots, and
and
obviously,
whatever.
yeah, and you'll have caddy with you. I think 86 could be potentially doable. I just think honestly the greens, like I was even gonna say closer to like 40 plus putts, because it's gonna be a tough putting course.
One thing to note is I switched up putters too. I brought the Phantom 7.5 out for this one. Been using a blade. Just been hitting really good putts on the old putting mat, and wanted to see how it goes.
Look down at something different for a couple rounds. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. Well, Cam, I look forward to hearing about what you do. I think it'll be awesome.
I think what's going to happen is I'm going to par like the first 4 holes and say, okay, we're doing great. And then I'm going to have a quadruple bogey. And it's like, okay, well, there we are.
It also depends
right.
if the wind's coming through. If it's windy out there, it'll be interesting.
I haven't seen any, like I've been trying to follow the weather closely. It's really just like kind of like overcast, high of 63 tomorrow. Not sure there's going to be much wind, but yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be fun.
We'll get a course review. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I think that does it for this episode. Listeners, make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, commenting the Great Bogey Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Until next time, we'll see you all later.
See you guys.
See ya.